If you're looking to build a deeper connection with your audience this year and you're a passionate business owner with a message to share, then I would love to help you do that via podcasting. If you're interested in starting a podcast this year, head over to donnaeade.com/apply to register your interest today. Don't forget to hit subscribe where you listen and rate and review the podcast if you've enjoyed it. You can also share this episode with a friend. It is a great way to help the podcast out to get to more listeners just like you. You're listening to the Mindset and Action Podcast, the place to be to grow and streamline your business. I'm your host, Donna Eade. Let's jump into the show. Welcome back to the podcast. This is another Mindset Mini Monday episode, and I'm so glad to have you here. I'm actually all by myself today, so that means that we're going to be getting very vulnerable, which is not a place I particularly like to be, but I think it is only fair that if I am grilling my guests on what their biggest blocks are, that I share one of mine with you. To be honest with you, it's something that I'm still struggling with, so this isn't a great I've got the answer for you. This is more of actually a call out to you guys to share with me how you deal with this particular block and what you do to overcome it. And maybe I'll do another episode down the line once you have sent the advice and thoughts and feedback that you guys give me. So if you want to send me some tips and tricks, then please do head over to Instagram, Donna_Eade, EADE_. So Donna_Eade_, and share with me your thoughts. So let's jump into it. So my biggest mindset block that I hit again and again is imposter syndrome. This is a big one for me, and it has put a spanner in the works more than once. So rather than starting where I am right now, let's go back to when I was a photographer. So I started as a wedding photographer because I absolutely love photographs. For one, I got my first camera when I was 13. I absolutely loved taking pictures. I loved getting them developed, sending them off to double print and triple print and true print and getting those photos back. And they are some of my most treasured possessions. I've actually always said that if my house was on fire and my family was safe, the one thing that I would want to go back in for is my photos, because they are irreplaceable. And as somebody else pointed out when I said this to them the other day, they're your memories, and it's how we trigger our memories, those images. So they are so special to me, and I wanted to do that for other people. I wanted to provide those memories for other people. And what had happened was I decided to get a camera, and I started to learn how to use it. And then I sort of saw something in the wedding photography industry that I just couldn't get my head round. That was people paying an awful lot of money for mediocre photographs. And I was like, this shouldn't be this way. I can change this. I can do it for much cheaper, blah, 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 blah. Really sort of naive to the business side of photography at that point. So I got my first wedding booked in, and I did it for a very, very low price. And I provided some lovely photos for the couple, and they're still married, and I still sort of keep in touch with them on social, and I was so happy to have done that. And it kind of grew from there. And then I kind of lent into female portraiture and newborn photography. I love taking photos of babies. One of my favorite pictures that I ever took was of one of my friend's newborns. Stunning picture of her in a flower basket. Really cute. And all the while I am watching a lot of training videos on running photography businesses. I was a big follower of Sue Bryce back in the day. She was kind of the pinnacle of portrait photographers to me, and I kind of followed her model, followed her method, put my prices to where she was kind of saying this is the value of it, and I saw the value in it, and I absolutely loved what I did and loved what I produced and was producing some amazing photographs for people. But the fact was that nobody wanted to pay my prices. And one of the things that Sue would always say is it's nothing to do with where you are, the environment you're in. It is to do with your belief and to do with the way you sell what it is that you do. So we're not just providing photos here, we're instilling confidence in you. We are showing you the beauty within. We're putting you in photographs for your children so that they can see you in all of your beauty, because they want to have photographs of you. And as mothers, we often are behind the camera taking pictures of our kids with their dads or just on their own, and very rarely will we step in front of the camera. And a lot of us have body issues that will also cause us to hide if we are in photos and things. So it was a brilliant story. I absolutely loved the vibe of it, and I completely bought into that portraiture session, and I loved it. And I totally would have paid Sue Bryce payments, like it was my dream to get her to photograph me. But I was in a small town, 30,000 people, a lot of them on low incomes. And I just thought, there is no way somebody's going to be able to afford my prices. Now, that may be a limiting money block issue, but more often than not, it came back to me thinking, but I'm not as good as. I can't produce photos like that. I'm not good enough to charge this. And this kind of goes back to Michelle's mindset, where she was talking about not valuing her skills and her worth, and they are very much in line there. And that's something that's kind of followed me. I had to give up my photography business, or I didn't give it up, but I took on a day job that was 30 hours a week, so part-time technically, but it was part-time hours that were kind of running in school hours. And at the time I had a sort of young teen daughter that, was around outside of those hours. And I just kind of let the photography business drift by the wayside, because I was making a good income at this part-time job. I didn't have to worry about money anymore, and it was tiring. So as an introvert, I have to be very conscious of where my energy is and where it goes. And it just really kind of swallowed up all my energy. So I didn't really have the energy to then put into advertising and marketing and going out there and getting photography business. And it also limited the amount of time as a natural light photographer of when I could actually shoot. And so I was doing some weddings, but I wasn't really doing any portraiture because I only had the weekends, and then I'd have a wedding at the weekend. So it kind of went by the wayside. But this imposter syndrome has followed me in all different areas of my life. And I had somebody ask me the other day, well, are you the best person to teach somebody how to podcast? And I was like, no, I wouldn't say I'm the best. I can do it, and I believe in the program that I have, but am I the best? No, I've not been doing it long enough to be the best. There are people out there that have been podcasting for the last 20 years. Yes, podcasting has been around for 20 years. So I can't possibly say that I'm the best. And I think it would be ridiculous of me to say that. And maybe that is part of imposter syndrome. I don't know. I have not got this blind belief in myself in that way. I believe I am good at what I do. I believe that it is worth what I charge, and I believe that I can get people results. And that has become undeniable, as I will finish up this episode with telling you that two of my clients launched a podcast called Far Too Fabulous. Yeah. So if you want to look it up, go give them a follow. They are a nutritionist and a vitality coach who teaches breathwork and Pilates, and she's very much into her fitness. They are both fantastic, and they are smashing it. They 6x'd my downloads for their first episode in one day. So my downloads over the course of a week, they 6x them in one day. And that is proof that my program works, and that I have taken my mistakes and the things that I did wrong. I've corrected them, created something that works. And if you work the plan will work. And so I have evidence that what I do is good. But when things don't go to plan, imposter syndrome is exactly where I go to. That if I do something that seems really good and it's going really well, and then I don't get the result that I anticipated, the imposter syndrome creeps in. Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe I am not the person for this role. So I know that I'm not the only one out there, and that is why I feel safe in telling you this very honestly, that I suffer with this as well. So if you are somebody who has been through this, if you have fixed the issue or come up with ways to work around it, come up with things that you tell yourself when you are in those situations, I would love to hear from you. And like I say, if I get enough responses, I will do a follow-up episode on this. But yeah, reach out to me on Instagram, Donna_Eid_, or you can send me an email, donna@donnaeid.com. I would love to hear from you. So that is me being very vulnerable on this mini Mindset Monday. What I want to say to you, to leave you today, is that even if you have imposter syndrome, the evidence is there. Your work speaks for itself. The fact that my clients 6x'd my own downloads in 24 hours, I literally sent them a message saying, when the student becomes the master, my job is done here. I was so stinking proud of both of them. So go over and have a listen to Far Too Fabulous. The fruits of my podcamp that they did with me and the course that they did with me, the program, the Done With You program, which is currently open. So if you want to start a podcast, I'd love you to come over and join me for one of my cohorts. You can apply at donnaeid.com/apply. The fruits of my labour are out there. It works. I know it works. I know it is worth what I charge for it. And that is what I keep at the forefront of my mind when I start to have those imposter syndrome feelings. So let me know what you do. And like I say, I will do a follow-up if I get enough responses. And I will see you on Thursday for the 200th episode, guys. Episode 200 coming on Thursday. I am so super excited. Got so much goodness to share with you. Come and join me then. I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.